Hey folks, this is Jeff Spring. I'm the Disc Golf Pro Tour Director, and I'm tuning in today to provide just a brief update. We've decided to do a few video updates, and we'll be doing these weekly, hopefully every Thursday around 5. So if you have any questions about the tour and updates regarding the pandemic, this is just an opportunity for us to be transparent and provide some information about what our current plans are and how the future of this season is looking, 2020. So I'll provide a brief update. Most of the things I'll share, I'll reiterate last week's update and let you know some stuff that we'll be sharing tomorrow. Every Friday, we try to share a written update on our site because, the COVID-19 pandemic is really a day-to-day thing. And so every week, I think we have new information for you to share. And we know that disc golfers are anxiously awaiting the return of their season, not just the pros, but they want to get out there and play. And we know some people are out there playing and taking precautions. But, we want to start the pro season up as soon as possible, of course, with health and safety in mind. So before I get into much of an update, I just want to, send our thoughts and prayers out to those affected by the pandemic. It's really a crazy time. Certainly never gone through anything like this in my lifetime. And it's been, pretty unique to the last 100 years of our history here. So hard to know how this is affecting everybody. I think there'll be a lot, more information about, how everything nationally and worldwide will rebound. But, just sending our thoughts and prayers to those affected. The Disc Golf Pro Tour team and their families are all doing fairly well. There haven't been huge effects other than, staying at home, quarantining, social distancing, and we're trying to follow all the health guidelines from our government and local officials, and of course our partners at the PDGA. So with that, I'll just quickly reiterate some of the things that happened in the last week. Last Friday, the PDGA suspended sanctioning for their events through May. So we postponed the San Francisco Open. Sean Jack released a statement, and you can go on our website and see that update in detail in his statement about the SFO. But he's the TD of the SFO, Sean Jack, and Sean Mercy as well. And they're working hard to figure out exactly what will happen with the SFO. Right now, it's just postponed. And if there's a way to schedule it, it will be rescheduled. I think that if it ends up going past July, we're looking at a cancel for the SFO. But right now, we're trying to get creative and figure out a way to hold it if possible. That kind of adds to our list of affected events. So Throw Down the Mountain, the Tallahassee Open, and the 303 Open, those aren't probably as recognized tournament names for some people, but they're all Silver Series events. The Silver Series evolved out of the test events, and they're officially on tour. For those of you guys who don't know what the Silver Series is, they do actually get 25% of the tour points, and pros can bank up to 3 events on the Silver Series at 25% points. So it actually plays into the UDisc standings. But those 3 events, Throw Down the Mountain, Tallahassee, and 303, they're postponed. And Throw Down the Mountain is actually canceled. Tallahassee's been rescheduled for October 2nd through 4th, and the 303 Open is postponed. The San Francisco Open joins the Jonesboro Open as an event that we have postponed on the Elite Series Tour. So we're hopeful to reschedule Jonesboro, and for San Francisco, it's looking like if we can't get it rescheduled before Portland, we'll probably, in collaboration with the Seans, have to cancel. But we'll figure it out. That's just being transparent and letting you know that we don't have a final decision, but those are our thoughts at the time. We also have the challenge at Goat Hill, which is a Silver Series scheduled for June 5th through 7th, and that one's holding at the moment. But Alan Risley, who's the TD there, is going to stay up to date with all current situations on the ground. But The last part of the update on Friday was that the Portland Open plans to move forward without spectators. I'm actually the TD of the Portland Open, and I've been in touch with Blue Lake Park. In Blue Lake right now says that we're on, and we'll hear a final decision about running that event mid-May. But we are looking forward to reopening the season. We have announced that it won't be with spectators, and we anticipate putting some social distancing guidelines on that event, as well as making sure that we have some other guidelines where players don't arrive, earlier than 30 minutes before their tee time, and they need to depart right after. So kind of excited about that, and about the prospect of restarting the tour there. So with that said, I have a few more updates, but I wanted to take a chance to see if there were any questions coming in at this time. So I'm gonna take a peek. Brandon Taylor, what's the hardest course on the Disc Golf Pro Tour? That's debatable. We just had a Dream 18 contest online, and we found out what the top holes were from across all 11 courses on the Elite Series Tour. Maple Hill had the most of any one course with 4. I would say that that's got to be up there for one of the toughest courses on tour. Probably battling Idlewild. Idlewild is known as a very hard course, so Maple and Idlewild. Fox Run's pretty hard too. So yeah, I would say those are all up there. Yeah. So I see Shane Dilly talking about a PDGA card, maybe a membership for the PDGA. We, just to make it clear, are the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So we're a for-profit tour. The PDGA is the sanctioning body. They're a nonprofit, and they're the membership body of the sport. So we aren't the PDGA. We work as partners with them. I don't think that they're going to be offering free memberships for next year. And I know that they hope to reopen sanctioning soon. So I think you will be able to use it, this year. So let's see. I wanted to look at Ace Run's question. Are the processes going to remain the same for media teams wanting to submit a bid for these postponed events? Generally, yes. So our media policy, basically sets the media teams for MPO1, FPO1, and MPO2 post-production for the season, and we run the Disc Golf Network, so we handle live. That said, the policy we have in place is that any media team who wants to cover other cards, so the next card in line is FPO2, can just reach out, and they basically fill out a form or email Mahmood at DGPT.com. Mahmood Barani, who is our media manager, will then coordinate your application, and hopefully Ace Run can come and cover some events. We'd love to have you. Thomas is asking about my thoughts about the PGA opening the golf season in June. I think that that basically at this time is their hope. We hope too that they open their season in June. Their first 4 events, and just to clarify for those of you guys who didn't read it, it's the PGA Tour. We're talking about ball golf. They're reopening their season June 11th with an event. As of now, there's a chance that gets postponed, I think, but if it doesn't, I think that's great, Thomas. I think that there are safe ways to run top level events for disc golf that are safe, and that space people out. So your comment goes on to say disc golf can very well be played, although we have this COVID-19 issue. I think up until this point, we support what the PDGA has put out there, the Professional Disc Golf Association, in saying that it's better to stay home. There are people that have access to private courses. There are people that have courses on their property that can avoid crowds. But the idea of going to a public course, is certainly a challenging one because of several different elements. So we just support the Professional Disc Golf Association stance right now, and we haven't been posting any media from anybody who's actually been playing on courses because of that. But it's definitely an issue that people fall on both sides of. I think society in general is adapting to guidelines that are safe. I think for us returning in July with the Portland Open with no spectators, we have a good plan that is safe, and that can translate. But the number one thing is public health and safety. Like that's what that trumps disc golf or wanting to play disc golf. And so we feel that, that's the number one focus everyone should have. So Derek says, what are the chances the tournaments that have been postponed will still be played this year? I can speak to our events. Jonesboro is going to hold an event. We really hope that it's on tour and it counts as points. But we've actually started talking about, we're getting very creative. We were talking about doing a wraparound season where we start the 2021 season in late 2020. I think that our tour championship date will stay the same and we'll conclude our tour then. But if we reschedule events after that, in November and December, those could be going towards the 2021 season and have a wraparound season, just like the PGA Tour does. So that's something that we, are excited to think about. Let's see. Thanks, Lewis. I know Lewis from playing Vermont Disc Golf. So I'm going to kind of transition to a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and I'll hit up the question board before we get off here in about 5 minutes, because this update is going to be brief. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is some stuff that the Disc Golf Pro Tour is doing. We just concluded a kind of a fun campaign to figure out what the Dream 18 is. Like what is everybody's favorite hole 1 through hole 18. We're going to be releasing a video that highlights 2 players that have played every hole on camera. I think tomorrow. Hopefully that will be out tomorrow. So that's coming out. Next up, we're going to start a best shot bracket soon, which we've compiled the top 16 men's and women's shots that we could really find on video on tour. And we've set up a match play bracket that you'll get to vote on. That's going to be voting in the comments. So that'll be fun. But then two things coming up for the pros that we're getting ready to announce formally, which, I can drop here for anybody watching who's interested. The first thing is that we're going to be doing a match play putting invitational for pros. It's going to be added cash, a registration, just like, other pro tournaments. We've got a system we've been working on that we feel pretty good about. It's going to be filmed, and at least the Sweet 16s are going to be filmed. And so you're going to see all your top favorite players that want to register, that is, which, it seems like most of them do. We'll be doing that, kind of digitally, so everybody will get to film their putting challenge from their house, and it's going to be match play. So basically it's going to be a bracket of 64 and 32. And I think that's going to be some fun content for everyone. And it's going to be hopefully thousands of dollars of added cash. So good purses for the pros, we hope. Then that's going to transition into a match play event. And the thinking behind match play is that we're going to be able to fill the time that's between when it's okay to play disc golf and when it's okay to hold big events like the Portland Open. So sometime in June, basically late May or June, we're waiting to announce final details, but we're working on it. And just keep your eye out for that, because it's going to be filmed, and we're going to hopefully work with all the media teams on it. And I think it's going to be really cool to do this match play tournament. And it's something that we've wanted to do for years, but now that we have this break, it's going to be a good fit in between. So we're looking forward to pulling that off. And match play means that there's not many people that are going to be in the same area at the same course. So stay tuned for that. That's just a little drop of knowledge for you guys. So Let's see. Portland Open am side. Yeah, the Portland Open am side is still a go. We're going to be updating everybody on the Portland Open soon, especially the AMs. But like we're not that far away from confirming. So right now the AM side is still a go. The pro side is a go, and we're looking forward to having that be the kickoff. Like I said, AM Worlds Howard Disc Golf. It's a PDGA owned event, and AM Worlds is right now just suspended, so it's not off. And I know that they're prioritizing Pro Worlds and AM Worlds as the top two events that they would like to see rescheduled. I think that international travel will play a role into that from just talking to my colleagues at the Professional Disc Golf Association. So yeah, definitely. All right, Bob Long, DGPT continue to charge monthly subscriptions even though there are no events. Yeah, the short answer is yes. I'm assuming that you're talking about the Disc Golf Network, Bob. Yeah, when the pandemic first became a bigger issue for us was right in the middle of Waco. We obviously suspended our season and cut one of the Waco rounds out. But shortly after that, we published a schedule of what content we would be continuing to publish for the Disc Golf Network, which is, keeping up to date with pros, Mo's Inside Line. We've done an Inside the Circle and produced some other content. And so we have a lot of exclusive and also free content. When we do publish free content, it's both on the Disc Golf Network and our YouTube. But there is, continuing to be consistent exclusive content on DGN. That said, we let people know that if they felt like they wanted to pause their subscriptions, they could do that. There's a pause function, and we totally understand that. We have had about 1,500 pauses so far. So we're still around 5,000 active subscribers on the Disc Golf Network. And we do get a lot of messages talking about how appreciative people are that we're staying active and giving people up-to-date information. And we've got some more fun content coming for that. But, if you need a pause, we totally get it. And thanks for subscribing, Howard. We really appreciate that. Bob. We really appreciate that. So last question here before we wrap it up. Keeping up with the Dickersons. Will caddies still be allowed once the season starts back? That's a great question. It's actually fairly poignant. I'm going to say yes, especially if you're sheltering in place with your caddy, like we know you are with Chris, Brittany. We'll definitely allow you to caddy for Chris. So you're allowed on the road. We look forward to hopefully seeing you in Portland. Although I don't know that you guys are signed up for that event, but maybe you'll try to get in now that it's the restart of the season. So yeah, overall, I want to just thank folks for your questions and for tuning in. I'll be back next Thursday at 5, and tomorrow we'll provide a little bit more of a written update. I've got a couple more things to update that I dropped a little bit of them today, but stay strong out there. It's a tough time. It's a tough time not just to be a disc golfer, but for everybody, as we all know. I just want to, again, send my thoughts and prayers out to the larger world community. While there's a lot of, I think good things coming out of, sheltering in place, I think the bigger picture is that there's a hard challenge for a lot of people dealing with the challenging end of this pandemic. So our hearts go out to them, and we encourage you guys to stay safe and follow safe practices and really just support each other as a community. I think I've seen a lot of people doing great things and finding ways to support each other and make this a little easier. So, we look forward hopefully to starting in Portland, and I'll be back next week to update you and hopefully still say we're charging ahead. So thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next time.